Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Good evening, everyone.
You all white, Sean?
Hey.
Sean's all white.
Sean's not white, he's yellow.
He is yellow.
I've been playing with my settings.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Oh, is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah, I see. He's all white. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Ghost Sean. Yeah.
I could do a transporter effect. Hold on, where am I?
No, what was that? What was that creature made out of energy that was glowing white? Was it the Dowd or was that something else?
Yeah.
Dowd was one of them. All right.
Yeah.
Your Dowd setting.
Oh, that's not the one. Oh, this one. Yeah.
Oh, there
Just
you
beam
go.
myself out and beam myself back in again, and then. All right.
Endless fun with chroma keys, isn't it? You know.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. We're back for another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. With me, my co-hosts, Mazza McBob, Tabikins Turner, and Chief Sean. How you all doing this week, you lovely people?
Good.
I'm well.
You're all looking a little more rested than you were last week, because last week we were all kind of like, we were all tired and kind of like, oh God. But
Hit like a bicycle.
yeah,
Too tired.
Too tired. Yeah, I'll give it. Yeah.
And we're off.
Yeah, and we're off. Yeah. Yeah, but we're looking fresh this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
In my case, that just means I put on a thicker layer of makeup because I am tired.
Oh. Well, you.
In my case, it just means I haven't drunk heavily in the last week or so. Because that wipes me out.
I did last time. Yeah. Good evening to everyone in live chat. Good evening, Ruth. Good evening, Wookie. Good evening to you, sir. Good evening, Stuplum. And anyone else that joins after I've said these hellos, welcome to the TNG review show. So, we're here to talk about another Season 5 episode. We're consigning it to the vault. Called The Masterpiece Society. Should I get straight into it?
Why not?
Good. Hop right in.
I'll hop right in.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah, it's a bit of a wordy one this week, though.
Really?
My notes are pretty concise. I think they're not that. It shouldn't take that long to get through, but the episode itself is a bit of a wordy one. But anyway, it is the Masterpiece Society, episode 13 of season 5, production number 40275-213. It first aired in the US on the 10th of February 1992. It was the 112th episode to be both produced and released. The teleplay was by Adam Balanoff and Michael Piller. This is Adam's only teleplay and story credit for TNG. And he wrote the story with James Caan. Again, was his only TNG
James
Caan! Yeah.
There we go.
James Caan. I wonder how many people do that to the guy.
I'd say it happened quite a lot when he was doing this one, yeah.
When he was working on Star Trek, I mean, how often did someone call him from across the set and go, "Come!" Yeah. So he was only. This is his only TNG credit, but he was the producer for season 7 of Voyager and wrote several Voyager episodes.
Oh.
And it was directed by Winrick Kolb. I don't know. I always get it wrong.
Vinrick Colby.
Colby. Yes.
Colby. But he just went by Rick.
Yeah, Rick. Who we've talked about many times. Many times.
Yeah, he's dead about 10 years.
Yeah.
He was what?
Sorry, was it Tommy?
Sorry?
Is he the Rickest Rick?
He's the Rickiest Rick. Yeah.
No, I think that
multiverse,
title goes. I think that title goes to Rick James. Rick James.
Okay. No, that's the wrong settings. What am I doing? Not my camera settings. I want to share my screen for this beautiful D-pic.
Oh, there's a D-pic.
It's a bit of a blur. Oh no, yeah, it's coming to focus now. I was going to say it's a blurry D-pic, but
No,
then it focused
that's your
itself.
eyes.
No, it's just Trek Core. Everyone forgets dial-up of the 90s where photos would slowly come into resolution.
I love
It's just a slow side.
I love that track call when you load up a photo. It kind of it's like a dial-up. You can see the picture building.
Yeah,
there's
a Pentium 4 in some basement with about
running Trek Core.
64 megs of RAM running Trek Core. Yeah, it's not the best of sites.
No. Oh, I forgot to say, has everybody got their blood wine this evening? I have a white.
I have my blood
wine.
cider. It doesn't look
I
very
have
blood-like.
I have a clear water.
A clear water. Wow. Let's
I've
pretend
got
it's
Peanut
gin.
Greg's because I know about wine.
Let us know in chat. Mine, if you're interested, mine's a Lindemann Chardonnay. But,
Nice.
yeah, let us know if you've
White today, boys.
if you're drinking any blood wine out there. Let us know.
Stew plum on homemade Shiraz.
Very nice, Stew Plum. Very nice.
I would love a Shiraz right now.
Yeah. Right, so on with the teaser. The teaser starts with the Enterprise seemingly following a blue star. And in the log, Picard informs us that they are indeed chasing a stellar core fragment from a disintegrated neutron star. But question number 1, what system are they chasing this stellar core fragment through? Is it A, the Marab sector, B, the Malona sector, C, the Moab sector, or D, the Mutara sector? And I will put those things in chat for all you lovely people, just in case I mispronounced one of them.
I'm so glad you chose this one because the answer makes me so happy because it reminds me of Dune, and I'll leave it at that.
Does it? What?
I mean, you
She'll
can't
have
say
to
it
give away
now.
the answer if she explains now.
Wasn't Patrick Stewart in Dune? Am I
He
making
was.
that
You
up?
what?
He was, yeah.
The 84 one or whatever. Never
Yeah.
seen it.
It's good. It's slow, but it's good.
Didn't watch the new one either, to be fair.
The new one's good as well. They're both good.
It was quite good. I was upset when the end of the movie came up, and I was like, "Wait, what?
Wait,
What? It's over?"
This is when it starts getting good. Why are you finishing? You silly movie. I want more. Yeah. Okay, so whilst people are answering that one, I don't know if did I tell everyone? Oh no, wrong tab. We do have bonus questions, little bonus questions for each round as well. So listen out for the bonus questions, and of course, whoever gets some right will go into a draw with my little magic spinner, and that will determine who gets the points.
Stu Plum did well out of your magic spinner last time, didn't he?
He did indeed. Yes. These questions, though, are not necessarily about the episode. They might be random.
Oh.
So beware, Ruth. Yeah.
Lovely data on the screen. This is a data thin episode, so it was painful getting through it.
It was. Oh, you silly thing! Come here. I'm just losing my tabs. There we go. Yes, it was a little bit of a data thin episode. I do try to put data on the screen every now and again for you, Tavi. So I try to work him in there now and again.
I do appreciate you my addiction.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to repeat?
Nah, Wookie doesn't do the questions.
Oh no.
He says he's back.
Yeah.
Can we repeat every single thing, please? Just
Oh
kidding.
yeah. Marab, Malona, Moab, or Mutara. There you go. A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
The Enterprise finds that the fragment will pass the fourth planet in the sector in 6 days, and they didn't realise that people would be living there. Data finds an artificial environment on the southern continent full of inhabitants. Geordi finds that they have a transmitter, so should be able to make contact. Worf opens a hailing frequency. Oh...
You know, as Geordie was sort of explaining this stuff, you can see that little panel in the middle of the screen there with the orange stripe on it.
Yeah.
There was a reflection of a boom mic.
Oh, in the sort of
in that thing there.
I don't know what they're used for apart from turning red when they're in red alert and flashing. I think that's about their only use. I don't know what they're for.
Also, I love when there's any sort of low power mode that they turn down the lights, because a huge warp core that could, power an entire planet. They need to dim the little LED lights just for the tiny little bit of extra power.
Yeah.
There's a Riker lean.
There is, and I've noticed in this shot as well, you can't actually make out whether there was a lady in the helmsman's seat, but I don't know. You can see through a gap here, and it doesn't look like anybody sat there for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Even though when you see from the front, there's a black lady sat there.
She's a common extra. I don't know her name.
But from this angle, it doesn't look like she's there. You can't see her feet or anything in the front. It looks like that chair is empty.
Ensign Gates.
Yeah, well, it could be several hours apart, because they shoot it one way with the lighting, then they break for lunch and they have to move all the lighting around, and then they have to shoot it at a reverse angle.
If we stand here together, nobody will notice that she's not there.
Yeah, that she's not there. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but yes, right.
We have the D-man. That's all we need.
Yeah.
I have to run my hands through that hair.
Yeah. So Picard introduces himself, but instead of answering, Worf reports that the shielding has strengthened around the artificial structure. Picard warns them that the stellar fragment is on its way, and so that eventually they respond. They talk to a reluctant Aaron Connor, who is initially confident about withstanding the tectonic effects of the fragment. However, data informs him of the density of it. See, I managed to wrangle a data pick in there for you.
Look at that forehead.
Yep. Data informs him of the density of the core fragment, and it will cause more tectonic stress than what they can actually withstand. But, bonus question. So this is your bonus question now. Why is the stellar core fragment blue rather than yellow or red? Anybody know? Just what does it mean about that stellar core fragment that it's blue?
Do I just put it in?
Yeah, you can just put whatever you want in, and I will choose whether you're right or wrong. Do. So why is the core stellar fragment blue rather than yellow or red? So Picard tells them they'll need to evacuate, but Connor is not down with that. Picard offers to beam him up and talk about it, and Connor marvels at the matter to energy concept, but is resolute about staying where he is. He does end up agreeing to talk to an away team, so Picard sends Riker down to talk to them, and that was the end of Act 1. That was it. Short teaser.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
A little bit of the D-man.
A little bit of the D-man. There you go. I'll go back one picture for you while we're chatting. How's well that one?
Oh my God, those lips. He's got such a silly expression. Like, yep, there it is.
Can you go back one more picture, actually?
Yeah.
Just is relevant to a comment. So apparently, like Jim Roddenberry had one of his things that he had predicted about the future, or one of the principles around Star Trek was that zippers wouldn't exist in the future. So that's why you kind of never see them on any uniforms or anything. But these people were supposed to be, not 200 years behind the time, but certainly haven't kept up to date with fashion for the last 200 years. And for whatever reason, the department, the clothing or set department or whatever, they decided to feature zippers prominently on almost every item of clothing that they're wearing in this colony.
Well, and funnily enough, 200 years ago when this place is settled is around the time of Star Trek Enterprise, or maybe a couple of years after it, 20 years after it would be exactly 200 years, I think. You do see zippers quite prominently in Star Trek Enterprise for the exact same reason, to show that they're a little bit less sophisticated and technologically advanced, because they have little zips on their pockets and things. All their jumpsuits are zippy, so it was the fashion of the time.
Cool.
You
can go back to your Facebook now if you want.
Well, you kind of experience. Go on, sorry.
No, I could. Aaron Connor here. Have we got anything to say about him?
Oh yes, he played a Cardassian in the episode "The Enemy."
A Romulan.
Sorry, yes. A Romulan. Yes, Romulan. Yes, he was. I can't remember the character's name.
Geordie was stranded with him on a planet, weren't they? And they kind of become sort of frenemies.
Yeah. It's nice to see his whole face.
Yeah.
He is the distant relative of Sean Connor. They left Earth to avoid the whole Skynet thing. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
And the guy in the background, Ron Canada, he was later in Deep Space Nine, Rules of Engagement, and Star Trek Voyager Juggernaut. Mm-hmm. And both of those two, Snyder and Canada, were in season 1 of Babylon 5, but separate episodes.
Yes, I think he was a soul eater. One of those guys with large heads. One of those guys. He's also this chap. He's also a prolific anime voiceover actor.
Oh right.
He's been in everything: Hunter x Hunter, Ghost in the Shell. You name it. You name it. He's been a voice actor in it, as far as anime goes. Yeah. So, while I put it back to D, data. I'll go back to question 1. And what system were they chasing the core fragment through? And it was the Moab sector. So that was C. So well done to everyone that said C.
That was everyone.
Everyone, well done, everyone.
20 points all round, except
Covered
for
in
Wookie, who
Cs.
said, Jay, hot dogs.
I'm so glad I didn't change. Oh yeah. So of course, you know, speaking of Dune, when I was younger, I thought that movie was the awesomest thing. And I was the only geek in middle school when we had to do a science book report. I chose Dune, which was like this thick as my
Ambitious.
book. So my tiny nerdy self is going on about stuff. But what I liked about that answer was Moab reminds me of Moadib.
Right.
And I'm like, my name is a killing word. I was like, I thought the movie was so cool.
It is cool.
And I'm like, oh, dude is badass. So anytime I hear like Moadib, so like even like with like my geeky friends or whatever, when somebody was doing something cool, we were like, oh, Moadib. So that's how cool you was. So I was like, up there.
Very cool.
So,
very cool.
I'm a dork.
And yes, bonus question. Why is the stellar core fragment blue? And the answer is because it's hot. Did anybody say that?
Yes. So the answers we had were
Mine is close. I get half a point.
A young star. Ruth said blue equals hot.
Blue equals
And
hot.
Stuplum
That's what I
said
wanted.
it's very cold. So Ruth got that one right, I would say.
Yeah. What did you say,
I
Tavi?
get it.
Ruth.
What
I
did
get it
Tavi?
partially.
Tavi said it's a young star.
Young.
They're hotter when they're young. That energy.
Yes, it can be true. Yes. Yes.
That's at least that's what I was thinking. It's blue because it's a young star, but I didn't think specifically for the temperature. But yeah,
You can get binary star systems where one star steals from its companion star, and eventually amasses such an amount of fuel that it ends up blue, but it can be quite old. It's possible. So it's not necessarily related to age, but it is related to its temperature. The hotter it is, the bluer it is. The colder it is, the redder it is. And you get the whole spectrum of things in the middle.
How much is the bonus point?
Oh, I don't know. I'll let you decide.
You usually do 10 for a bonus point.
I didn't even get to spin my spinner.
No, but you've got one.
Well, you can spin it. Just do 1 out of 1.
I've
There
got 1 out of 1. I'm spinning it.
What are your chances, Ruth?
What's
Oh.
It's Ruth!
Hey, Ruth won.
Hi, G Star.
Hi, G. You're right. Ruth won. Well done, Ruth. Yeah, as many points as you want to give it. I'll say 20.
1 million points, and that's the evening. Well done.
1 million. 1 million points. Alrighty
20,
then.
20 per bonus, then, if you like.
Okay. All right.
All right, then.
We are on to Act 1. And so, Connor greets the away team of Riker, Deanna, and Geordie and explains to them that they are an engineered society. Selective breeding has created a society of perfect human beings, living perfect lives, perfectly in tune with their environment. They're perfectly perfect in every way. We're introduced to another character, Martin Bedbeck, who is not as open to the away team as Connor. He points out that, for example, no one in his society would be born blind. No offence.
he's already throwing shade.
It's already from when anybody ends a point that they're making with no offence at the end of it, it's generally it's going to be offensive, isn't it? I don't think that's ever been said without causing offence.
You would think if he was so worried about their environment that he wouldn't want to antagonize people who have the ability to beam in and out as they please.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I accidentally beamed you into space. Don't! Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to be here. Bye. We'll just let you guys quake and disintegrate in space. Bye.
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 Yeah. Cheerio. Connor explains that because they are in tune with their environment, as per the master design, if they are removed from it, they will be irreparably altered. Connor also apologizes for Badback. I know he's called Bedbeck, but every time I saw his name, I thought Badback. So that's what I put. As he's the interpreter of the colony's founders' wishes, he lacks diplomatic skill set. He was bred for that role, and Connor was bred to lead. He says it saves time for the whole finding yourself thing, you know. Connor then introduces them to their lead scientist, Dr. Bates, and allows Geordie to work with her on a solution. Riker beams back whilst the work begins, and Troy stays to learn more from Connor. As Riker beams out, Bates is amazed at the matter-to-energy converting thing. But question 2, we have just met Dr. Bates, but what is her first name? Is it A, Hannah, B, Rhonda, C, Beverly, or D, Dee?
Hi, Mr. Tabakins.
Oh, Mr. Man, you're here.
Let me just...
Wookie, go hide in the closet, quick.
Run, Wookie, run! There you go. What was Dr. Bates' first name? Hannah, Rhonda, Beverly, or Dee? I like D. That was... Get it? Debates. Anyway.
Yeah. I got it when you pointed it out.
There's a lot of my work, and he has a tattoo of R2D2 on his arm, and I said, "It's a lovely little tattoo of C-3PO you have there. You've never seen someone get annoyed so quickly."
Oof.
Hey, I was like, very deliberate, but fun. Just popped my head. I was like, yeah. It's a good way to annoy someone to get a tattoo is get it wrong.
Yeah. Originally, the fourth answer was going to be Master, but then I thought, no, nobody's going to have the first name Master.
Well, except for the Master. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, or is that technically a second name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stu Plum was there as well, Monty Ban. He said, good job,
Mistress
she's
Bates.
female, Mistress
Yeah.
Bates.
Yeah, she couldn't be Master. No.
Well, she could have been Missy.
Missy Bates. Anyway.
As they were going into this room to meet her here, I don't know if you noticed that Riker was sort of looking down, and he almost walks right into the wall of the opening, and he sort of looks up and sort of course corrects, like yanks himself sideways at the last minute.
I didn't notice. No, I didn't notice that.
And then as he walks in, he's got a big cheesy smile on his face, which I don't know. Some people think it was because he nearly walked into the wall, but I think he was doing his, walking along. Pretty woman, I'm Riker. How are you?
Yeah, a blonde. Hi.
And it is like his whole face lights up. It's hilarious.
I sent you guys a message in private chat. I had a question about G-Star.
Oh, that would be in a week and a bit.
Okay.
22nd is the big day.
Yeah.
For the wedding. Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting. Okay, Troy and Connor go for a walk and talk about their perfect society, and basically makes it sound a bit dull. He confides that meeting new people today has been exhilarating, and Troy says she feels the same way at meeting new cultures. Because it's perfect, they have no need for counsellors, so Troy jokes she'll be taking her next vacation here. And Connor says he will build her a hotel. But bonus question. Norman Bates was a fictional character in which book and movie?
I only know the movie.
Well, it's the same as, I don't know. Whether you've read the book or watched the movie, they both have the same name.
Yeah.
So.
I'll put both movies in, I think.
There we go. I guess he was a master.
8.
Yeah. Geordie and Bates are looking at the projected outcomes of the passing stellar fragment and conclude it's going to be really bad. She asks him about power outputs of the Enterprise and whether it could move the fragment. Geordie says that the Enterprise could move a small moon, but nothing as massive as a stellar fragment. I didn't even know the Enterprise could move a small moon, to be honest. I guess, have they done that before?
Not to my knowledge, but
No.
I mean, like asteroids is the most they tend to do on this sort of thing, right? Yeah. Like moving moons is generally not a good thing.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Also, that the lady who plays Blank Bates, she's called Day Young. She also appeared later in Deep Space Nine: A Simple Investigation, and Star Trek Enterprise: 2 Days and 2 Nights.
Oh, good. Yes.
So they've all been in sort of 2 or 3 different episodes.
Yes, she has. I'm glad you haven't said anything else about what she's in, because that's another question.
Oh.
Yes. So, back to this picture. She then comes up with an idea of a multiphasic tractor beam and thinks the Enterprise power, with the Enterprise power, they could nudge it so that the effects wouldn't be not bad, but it wouldn't be completely disastrous. But to do this, Geordie would need her help on the Enterprise. So they take the request back to Bad Back and Connor, and whilst Bad Back objects, Connor overrules him, and the imbalance would only be temporary. So the away team and Dr. Bates beam up to the Enterprise, and that's the end of Act 1. So there we go.
I have to tell you guys about some of the things that are going on in my life now with small children. My kids are they're in that phase where they do a bunch of like odd things, but for an adult it comes off as really creepy. Since we're talking about Norman Bates and whatnot. So every now and then when I put laundry away in my girls' room, my little girl is so small that you can't see her sometimes. So she's in that blind spot. So I go in there with an armful of like, bed sheets, pillows and stuff and put in the cabinet. And all I hear is just little feet. And I turn around, I look around, but I don't see anyone. And then the next thing I know is the door slams and she's up against the wall. Like, I've got you here, mommy. Now you have to play with me. And I'm looking around like, what the heck? And she's like, it's nap time for you. You need to go sit down and play sleep. And I keep getting that scene where that guy in Silence of the Lamb is like bedridden. And I'm like, is this going there? And she won't let me leave the room. And I have to end up talking my way out or just telling her, okay, Muffin, you can't do this because this is creepy, all right?
I remember in one of our old houses that the bathroom door had quite a big gap underneath it because it was old, and they used to just follow you around the house no matter what you were doing, and you'd end up having to go to the toilet, and you'd be sat on the toilet and you'd see these little fingers coming under the toilet door. It's like something out of The Walking Dead. Like, leave me alone.
Well, at least they didn't come in. Mine just opened up the door while you're sat, prone.
Start talking to you. Not now. Okay, so question 2. The answers to question 2 then. What was Dr. Bates's first name?
Are you covered in A's?
I'm covered in A's. It was Hannah. Yes, it wasn't Beverly Bates or Rhonda Bates or D Bates. It was Hannah Bates.
D Bates.
It sounds like someone's popping
bubble wrap.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Are you actually popping bubble wrap?
A little bit. I thought I was doing it far enough away. Apparently, I wasn't. Okay, it's gone. I was more or less done. I knew. I left my other earphones in my dad's place. I had to take these out of the packet.
Those are some sharp ears, Monty. Is there someone popping up?
It's what it sounded
There was
like.
a radio show that had prizes for people that they guess these really weird sounds, and it would be stuff like that.
Trying to turn him into a professional YouTuber, you know. Pop in bubble wrap.
We could do a segment called Sean's Name That Sound.
Yeah. I've got this button now.
Shut up, Sean.
They can't hear it, but you can at home.
Oh,
so.
is that the Stop It Sean or whatever?
Shut up, Sean.
Shut up, Sean.
Shut up, Sean.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Sean.
Perfect use for it.
Yeah. And the bonus question then, Norman Bates was a fictional character in which book and movie? And it was Psycho.
We have Psycho.
Psychic?
Psychic.
Oh, no, Psycho.
Psycho. Psycho, American Psycho, and Psycho Bates Motel.
Yeah, but Bates Motel is the more recent series, isn't it? Yeah, so he's in that as well. But that wasn't what I was thinking of.
So that isn't what you were thinking of.
But no,
Is that
Psycho.
right,
he's got
though,
Psycho.
Right?
He is right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 correct answers.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct answers. 5 correct answers.
Yes. 5. Right. Hang on.
They'll be numbered in the order that they're appearing in chat. Will they? Do they appear in the same order for everybody?
So Sean is 1.
1.
Ruth is 2.
Is 2.
Tavi's 3. G4. And Stuplum 5.
5.
Yeah.
Ruth didn't answer?
Ruth did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She's 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the winner was number 1.
That would be Sean.
Well done, Sean.
Well done, Sean.
He's my number 1 dad.
There we go. Right.
Anyone remember what episode that was?
He's my number 1 dad.
No idea.
No.
That was Rascals, where Picard is turned into like a 14-year-old.
Yeah. We haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That was
okay.
an
Spoilers.
Painful episode.
Spoiler.
Was that really his voice? In that one, that kid's voice? Or was it Patrick?
I guess so. He also played his nephew, same actor. So
Yeah, it was,
pretty much.
Yeah, it was a kid's voice. Yeah.
That was really his voice. Oh.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I think that's that's the next one, season 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll get there before you know it.
Wookie, same here. I didn't answer because I was thinking of something else. But yeah, Misery. That's also what I was thinking of. Yeah. That's the one with Kathy Bates in it, isn't it? Misery?
Kathy Bates, the actress.
Yeah,
Kathy
that's
Bates.
exactly the one I was thinking of, Wookie.
Yeah.
I knew I was wrong, so I didn't bother putting it in.
Gee, is my breathing really loud? I'm now,
I know.
I'm now paranoid about my breathing. I know.
It's bad.
I found your lack of audio settings disturbing.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes when I first come on the stream, like, and you're just there in the background, you don't realize I'm there, and it's just your breathing, I can hear it. But when there's everything else going on and the talking and everything, I can't hear it.
All right, Sean. Shut up, Sean. Where's my
Just Sean,
button?
push button, push
It's all the
button.
way here. Go gain on it.
Shut up, Sean.
Okay. In the log, we learn that Bates has been aboard for 3 days. Now trying to find a way to adjust the core's fragment's trajectory. They have 48 hours before they have to start evacuating other colonists, which is not good. In the ready room, Deanna tells Picard that now she has spent some time with them, she thinks that they would risk death rather than leave their home. She doesn't think that they will change their mind on this. Picard thinks genetic engineering is a bad idea, which time has passed long ago. A bit of an understatement, but there you go. Geordi and Bates are working in engineering and getting nowhere. Geordi tried taking his visor off because he's tired, which surprises Bates. who questions him about his blindness. She asks to look at his visor, and whilst inspecting it, Geordie points out that on her world, he would have been terminated as an unfertilized cell for being defective. Which is true.
Minor plot point. As we all know, the galaxy is huge. They could literally quarantine them on one deck and have no contact with anyone on the ship at all, and completely, keep their culture separate to everyone else's, or just put them on all the holodecks or something. They could easily keep their culture intact and not mix with the rest of the crew.
Well,
but
Deanna suggests that later. She says,
she
"Can't
does.
you just resettle somewhere?" And he goes on about Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Question 3. At the beginning of this act, how long had Dr. Yates been on board the Enterprise? 1 day, 2 days, 3
Dr.
days,
Bates.
or 4 days? Dr. Bates. Did I say Dr. Yates?
You did.
Dr. Bates.
Not Cassidy.
Not Cassidy Yates. Cassidy Yates has not been on the Enterprise. It's a different show. Yeah.
It's been on the Orville.
Ironically, Badback, he was in the Orville.
Oh, so he was, yeah.
Oh,
He was an admiral in the Orville.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just...
Yeah. I think I just saw that episode actually.
Yeah, I think
They were dealing.
Orville's immense.
he was in 3 episodes in total, I think. Yeah.
I would have no, Discovery's cancelled, boo-hoo, but, still waiting on that Orville renewal. Good 6 months now, just saying.
Oh dear, sorry, I'm just reading chat. She asks Wookiee if he's got a data costume.
Yeah, G suggested it, and then Tabby's like, "Oh, yes, Wookie, do you?"
I'm wearing his lower decks variant.
Oh, wait, was there a question? People are putting C in. What?
That was a question, yes.
Ah,
You
crap.
haven't
Well,
put the question in chat.
Oh,
The question
sorry.
was, how long has
lost
Hannah,
in,
Hannah,
Wookiee.
Hannah Bates, not Yates, been on the Enterprise?
1, 2, 3, or 4 days. A, B, C, D.
There you go. There you go, people.
Also, that shot really just shows up the single bulb behind a square display look of the TNG. You can definitely see the way the light bulb just fades off at the top of that display.
The L cars, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wookie has body paint, so could, paint on a uniform.
well, this is going wrong. This conversation. Geordie, in describing how his visor works in compressing the information into pulses so his brain don't get overrun with data, realizes that he can use the same concept with a tractor beam to stop the conduits overloading. Geordie thinks it's perfect that they will be saved. He thinks it's perfect that the colonists will be saved from a visor of a blind man whom their society wouldn't have existed. And he ends the comment with, no offence.
They tried the same trick on Tavi, tried to prevent her brain getting overloaded with data, but it just plain didn't work.
It didn't work. No, it did not work.
Should never given you that book.
No. Right, your bonus question then. So, the actress that played Dr. Bates, not Yates, is called Day Young, as we mentioned earlier. But she played a snooty shop assistant who refused to serve a customer in which film?
Big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Roy Orbison's side is a mistake.
Yeah. And when I realised that, I was like, "Oh yeah, that is."
I didn't know it till you said it either.
Yeah. On the planet, during a piano recital, there's an earthquake. It's the first of many tremors. Connor tells the boy to keep playing, and then leaves. And Troy follows. I thought it was really odd. They're all sat watching the recital, and he's like, "It's okay, everyone, carry on," and then he scarpers. It kind of sends the wrong message to everyone. They're like, "Where did he go? Should we leave?" But
Well, this whole colony seems to be this tiny plaza. Where could he possibly go? There's nowhere else here.
I know. When they hail him, the plaza's in the background. It's like all the meetings are in this plaza. It's the whole colony, isn't it?
They don't mention at any point how many people are in the colony, do they?
No.
They do mention losing 1 or 2 people would ruin the whole colony. So
I mean, I get
can't
the
think
impression it's only like a couple of hundred or something, but
Yeah, they say
I'd
like
say
100.
it's not a very diverse gene pool, is
That
it?
wouldn't be genetically diverse enough.
No.
Yes, it would. They said for humanity to survive in space, if you had the correct amount of diversity in your original gene pool, you only need about 121 people.
Mm.
I don't know why they didn't just 122, but
right. So if you mix enough races, that you have.
I thought it was more than that.
yeah, and there were a lot of different races up in there. But I'm surprised that they're all specific colors and not all like light brown, like mixed.
Well,
Like,
they do mention it.
You got 120
They do
people.
mention
That's
it.
60 couples. You know.
Yeah. Well, they do mention in Up the Long Ladder, which is possibly my favorite and no way offensive episode of TNG. Oh Jesus, be praises! They make alcohol. But they needed they need something like 30 couples, so all the women have to have 3 husbands to make it work, or something like that. To get the Mariposans and the Bring Lodi to have a stable beginning. But as you said, the Mariposans were only like 4 people, really. There was only like 3 males, so it doesn't really count for genetic diversity purposes. And the Bring Lodi were a small Amish tribe of Irish people, you know, again, one race, so they probably needed more diversity than you mentioned.
Troy asks him why they just can't re-engineer all this somewhere else, because they're into the whole re-engineering thing. But Connor's like Humpty Dumpty, innit? And so that explains that. When Connor kisses her, Troy realizes this is wrong, though it doesn't stop him kissing her again. And so they kiss a bit more.
Good one, Ruth.
He's painting up.
Speaking of all these like different couples and the ones that have to share, once I had these like neighbors. They were a really attractive older couple, like really sleek looking, like silver fox hot. And I remember we were there, and their parents, like in Scandinavia or here like in Norway specifically, the properties are divided in such a way that the family farm ends up building multiple houses on the same property. So grandpa is in the next house, and their kids and their kids might be on the same lot in houses that are just right across the way. But this one like daughter-in-law, me and her were pretty cool. She was always the feisty one, that the parents weren't so happy that their eldest son married, their
brought home
golden
to the roost,
yeah. And she had kids from a previous marriage, and she used to tell them that she's got 3 children and she's had them with 5 men. So just to mess with their heads. And this one conversation takes a left turn on a red light when she's like, oh, have you seen our lawn fixtures? And I'm like, yeah, they're pretty weird. And I noticed she had like, little statues and flamingos and like garden gnomes. So I'm like, it's an eclectic mix, but okay. And she's like, can you imagine the look? Oh, I always get a laugh when my husband's mother is inquisitive about my eclectic collection, because I like to get a rise out of her. The flamingo means that you're a swinger, to let other swingers know that you're a swinger couple. And I'm like, oh, okay. But she's like, didn't
That would,
I didn't know that.
That would explain all the flamingos outside those like pensioner houses in Florida.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get those kind of little townlands, as they're called in Ireland, where, as I said, if road frontage gets broken up over a number of generations, to the point where you've got 40 houses in the townland, and they all have the surname Ryan or something, and it gets very... We introduced air codes, our version of postcodes, about 5 or 6 years ago, but before that, it was very confusing as to whose house Like it was quite common for all the neighbors who were cousins or second cousins to get each other's posts and just be moving it around from house to house all the time. But our version of postcodes are specific to each property, so thankfully it's fixed now. Eventually,
Right.
but I live in Tipperary, where every third or fourth person is called Ryan, so it gets confusing which Ryans you're talking about. And it gets to the point where, like, the grandfather had a nickname. Say he had a funny run, and they called him the Sparrow. So now the whole family are called the Sparrow Ryans for all eternity, just so nobody confuses them with anyone else.
That was the end of Act 2. So going back to question 3 then, how long had Dr. Bates, not Yates, been on board the Enterprise at the beginning of this act? It was 3 days. So hopefully we
Everybody got it right.
Everyone got it right. Well done, everyone. And the bonus question was the actress that played Dr. Bates, she played a snooty shop assistant, refused to serve a customer in which film? It was Pretty
Woman. Walking down the street. We had 5 correct.
Pretty woman, kinda like to meet pretty woman.
My mom would not let me watch
glasses. I like it.
And I love you, it's true.
He's
I
bringing
would
props
love
now.
you just like.
Very good. Very
Okay,
good.
we're done with those. I happen to have.
It's got a bit of a voice going on there, Sean.
My mother
It's in my range. It's right in the bass. It's fine. Anyone can sing that.
Sorry, Tabby.
My mother would not let me watch that movie when I was younger, and I couldn't understand why. Because for Southern Bible folk, the idea that they would give screen time to anyone classified as a whore and make it seem glamorous was obscene. But I didn't know what whores were, so it was completely over my head. So, and I'm like, what's a whore? Like I watched the movie, when she wasn't around, and I'm like, I don't get it. What's the problem? And why aren't they like helping
there's
that
no
lady
blood and guts or
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't helping that lady in the when she went shopping. I was like, they're mean, but I'm thinking, what if they're like racist? But then I was confused because they're all white. And then I didn't understand the scene where she was in the bathroom like flossing, which I thought was corny when I grew up and re-saw that. And I was like, why can't she brush her teeth? What is this problem? And so I just completely over my head. But that's how I remember that scene. When I became an adult, I'm like, oh, it's a Horror to Cinderella story sort of thing. But I'm like, Mom, completely unnecessary for a mother to guard me. It's not like I was going to go to my counselor and tell her I wanted to be a whore, so forget school and Jesus.
Nowadays, you just marry Trump and be done with it.
Yeah.
Wait for him to clock out so you can cash out and be finished.
I feel sorry for Melania Trump because she was like,
Hey, look, she's getting paid, right? Maybe not a billion. No, she makes out, but she's getting paid. So
you gotta imagine. She was like, "I'm just gonna marry."
No politics on the TNG review show.
Right.
Sorry, we'll move on.
Pretty Woman. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got Sean's 1, Maz's 2, Ruth's 3, Tavi's 4, and Stu Plum's 5. Let's spin that wheel. And it's letter 4, which I can't remember who that was.
That's Tabby.
Woo! Yay! I was like, am I 5?
I go.
You
Sorry,
get the
force of
points.
habit. Tabby.
Yeah, Panko's not here. Yeah.
I know you all would have bleeding ears by now.
Yeah. Okay, Act
Give us
3.
your warning.
Onwards and upwards. Geordie and Bates give Picard and Riker an overview of their tractor beam tech, and whilst preparing everything to work, it's going to leave engineering short-handed. Picard gives the go-ahead anyway. On the planet, Troy tells Connor she is going back to the ship and is not going to see him again, which he is sad about.
I have a question. I couldn't understand the politics of why this was bad. Why?
Why? What was bad?
Her being romantically interested in him was
Because
bad.
she's not
'Cause they were
genetically
supposed to be a
perfect.
completely closed society with no outside interference and all, done to design. So,
Yeah.
it's just upsetting the apple cart
Well,
somewhat.
She's a
I
rogue
mean,
element.
they're very polite about it, but they are kind of, Nazis basically, and she's impure with her alien DNA and wild ideas.
Who
I
says
mean,
having a good
they're
role
very
in the
Nietzschean.
hay?
Sorry,
Sorry?
Tabby?
Who says having a role in the hay is bad? No one's talking about having babies. I just want
Yeah,
to knock
but
some roots and go on my merry way.
already his feelings for her is making him almost hope for evacuation so that he, doesn't have to go back to his. It's like, yeah, it is a very catalytic element.
So yeah, she's angry with herself for falling for him, and the complications of adding Betazoid DNA into their social mix would not be acceptable. But before she's able to beam up, Geordie and Dr. Bates arrive and tell Connor that they will need to beam down engineering crews to install shield emitters. Connor agrees, as there's no other choice. But question 4, how long does Geordie say the engineer crews will need to be on the planet? Will they be there for 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, or 48 hours? The crew start
Ruth
being...
asks if we can have more exciting colours on the wheel. I don't know if that's something we can
No,
control or
I'd
not.
have to code my own wheel. But no, it's...
And she also says people fall in love quickly on this boat, which it's just the Star Trek way, isn't it? Like everybody falls madly in love.
They've
within,
only
like,
got
2
44
days of
minutes.
meeting anyone.
Well, if you lived in a colony your entire life and there's only like 150 women and you saw a new woman, I mean, yeah, I could see how that would happen.
When everyone's your great aunt, or it's difficult to get excited.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're fully interbred as a society, because obviously they have very kind of defined races. You can see white people and black people and so on. So, but outside of that, they're obviously tracing their genetics and breeding for certain genes and things.
They didn't say that they didn't bring like extra embryos and stuff with them,
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
From like if you start thinking about the embryos from the station where Arctic swipes they could have did it in that time period where it was still legal, so they probably bought like a bounty of babies with them to...
Yeah, you get this weird thing now where they have people who get their eggs harvested and reimplanted later or surrogated later. They effectively can have twins because the eggs were harvested at the same time, but they can be 10 or 15 years apart in age.
Yeah.
The world is strange,
They'd only be fraternal twins, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I suppose in theory you could make identical twins, but it'd be quite difficult.
I don't know, Stu. I don't know why she's so upset over a kiss.
Don't know. Anyway, the crew start to beam down and get on with their work, and Connor leaves Deanna staring at a piano. But bonus question for this act: have you hit the like button for this stream?
Yes.
Well, that's the question. You got to put it in chat.
Oh.
You got to be honest.
Technically, no.
You got to be honest now. Have you hit that like button when I asked the question?
Technically speaking, no is a technically speaking, no is a correct answer.
No is the wrong answer, Sean. Where's my shut up, Sean button?
Shut up, Sean.
Yeah. Yes. Have you hit the like button? There you go. And that's the end of Act 3. Yeah. Short act. Very short act, this one. It seemed to go in no time at all.
Yeah. Why do everybody think Humpty Dumpty's an egg?
It's often depicted as an egg.
Yeah.
Isn't he supposed to be a king or something?
It's supposed to be, I think, a cannon.
Yeah, it was originally.
There was a large cannon on the side of a castle, and in a battle it fell off. and broke.
Oh.
I think
there's a thing.
that's where it comes
There's a
from.
thing called the Mandela effect, where groups of people remember things incorrectly equally together. Like a lot of people remember, well, this is kind of beyond like the generation before ours. A lot of people remember Mandela dying in jail when, in fact, he lived a good 20 years after he came out of jail. But people remember it. There's also the Streisand effect, which I love, which is if you try and hide something off the internet, the attempt to do so makes it so famous that it gets much more coverage than if you just ignored it.
Yeah.
My dog wants attention. Yeah, Wookie.
I always thought that
Wookie is Wookie.
Yes, shoot.
Hello, Chewbacca. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Yeah. Hello, Chewie.
I always
Don't
thought
touch
that
anything. Don't touch anything on my desk.
relatives of Wookiee. Got your peeps on camp? I remember Humpty Dumpty growing up as a kid, and I thought it was a very morbid story because my mind, with it being depicted as a humanoid egg, was that someone had a terrible accident and it was just a graphic death, and the doctors couldn't save him because they had poor medical back then and dirty hands, so it wouldn't matter if they did manage to get him back together.
It's so much better thinking of it as a large cannon.
It works.
That makes so much sense because all the king's horses and all the king's men
Yeah.
couldn't put it back together.
No, that's right.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
great. That's much better.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these are quite morbid. Ring a Ring a Rosie is about the Black Death, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about
It's like a tissue, we all fall down. It's like we've
That's
all
when they
died.
die.
Yeah.
And a pocket
we've
full of
died
posies was
Yeah.
the flowers that they used to carry on them to disguise the smell of death.
and the ring of roses was the blotch marks. It's the
Yeah.
the one
The
of
rashes,
the symptoms.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was when I came to Norway, they were happy to tell me their nursery rhymes that they thought were equally as awesome, but they were just kind of weird and they seemed really odd that they would come up with these strange things. And the Norwegian one is tippa høna satt på gjerdet, tippa høna datt ned, ingen lege kunne fikse fordi tippa høna var død. And that's this little chicken sat on a fence like Humpty Dumpty, but the little chicken fell down, but the doctor couldn't fix her because the chicken was dead.
Well, that's a good point.
It's kind of
So I
the
was like,
same
oh,
thing.
that was abrupt.
It's dead.
But their language is just so harsh and so that like
all the original Grimm fairy tales, if you go back to the original German, which probably leaks into the Scandinavian versions, like they're much different to the Disney ones, Like Hansel and Gretel gets dark, I don't think they live through it. It's bad.
Right, so Act 3 then, question 4. How long did the Geordie say the engineering crews would be on the planet? That was D, 48
Everybody say
hours.
D.
Wow, you guys are knowing your stuff this week. You are taking notes.
this is the
Covered
first
the Ds.
episode that I just completely didn't take notes and only halfway paid attention. And it's just this
Wow.
random information put out.
Wow. So the bonus question then, did you eat the like button? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses and a no. Wookie?
Wookie answered in the style of Yoda, "No, I have.
No.
Feisty one, you are."
I have. He has. Thank you, Wookie.
Has now. That's good though. It's a good
Oh,
reminder.
thank you. Okay, so we've got 5.
Five
So it's 1 for
yeses.
Sean and 2 for Maz and 3 for Stu Plum and 4 for Tabby. And Ruth, you're 5. Come on, you 5s. I mean, or it could be any of the other
Not
numbers.
that you're biased.
Not that I'm biased. Oh, it's 2. That's Maz and Bob.
Oh, it's me.
You got it, Maz.
Wow, they're really being spread around tonight.
Yeah.
The bonus points normally split the difference between the places,
You've
but if
all
we all
won.
get a bonus question right, we're all going to end up even.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so we're into Act 4.
You have to say it, Sean.
Nice D pick.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Enterprise
Just-
is. Yeah.
What's that, Tab?
You have to say what you wrote. We want to hear the Irsk. Come on, get it out.
I said, as we say in Ireland, Tirgon Changa, Tirgon Anam, which is a country without a language is a country without a soul.
Oh.
We also say tá Gaelge Brista níos fearr ná Béarla Clista, which is broken Irish is better than clever English.
Yes.
Is there such thing as clever English?
Well, Brista and Clista rhyme in Irish, so it works.
It works. It works. Okay, so the Enterprise is now. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll give you one more. Not mean to lauder kai vec to glick. No, sorry, the other way around. Not mean to glick. Yeah, no, sorry, that was right the first time. Not that you knew the difference. The I said if you're not strong, you better be clever. Yeah, I think I have that the right way around.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
No, sorry, we'll move on.
Let's move on, eh?
Push your button, Mark. Push your button.
I'm going to push the wind and chiming button for Sean there. He deserved that.
I've got to the Lanaragni. Come on, Sean Hainer.
Yeah.
We love you, Sean.
Okay.
Carjake Blaine is shocks and skull Gaelga agus post knock with Sean's going to saw that.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Enterprise.
I'm messing with you. Go on.
Shut up, Sean.
Mute his mic.
The Enterprise is now on a parallel course to the fragment, and in engineering, LaForge and Bates wish each other good luck as they engage the tractor beam. Tractor beam engaged. They do lots of adjusting and bits and bobs, and they still require more power. So on the bridge, Riker orders Data to take power from life support. For the moment, all is well. And it's working. The tractor beam is on, and they're gradually nudging the core fragment. But then Data reports that they have lost an emitter, and life support starts failing. But question 5, to ensure the colony's safety, how many degrees do they need to adjust the core fragment's trajectory? Is it A, 1 degree, B, 1.2 degrees, C, 12 degrees, or D, 120 degrees?
Well, that's not what I
Love
do.
that big D energy coming out right there.
Yeah, just shooting right out.
I thought you didn't watch this to take notes. Here you go.
You can turn it back to that Data photo.
There you go. There you go.
Look at those lips. I love his little Cupid's bow lips.
Yeah.
And that nose, a little bent a little bit. Everybody likes a little curve in it.
You gotta have a little bit of a curve in something.
Yep. Gotta have a little curve in the D.
Also, I didn't see it in my notes, but that's not normally where you see the tractor beam emitter coming from. Am I right in saying it usually comes near the forward torpedo bay? That seems to be coming from the
Right.
Yeah.
the dorsal section. Is that right? The underside.
There are actually 2 tractor beam emitters, and for some reason it's coming from the aft one, which is in the middle, just as the sort of curve comes down.
It's not even lined up straight. It's awkward shot. It would make. They do say they lost some emitters, so they could use both points at the same time, maybe. But that's not the greatest of shots. Mike Okuda wouldn't be happy with that one.
No. So yes.
Wiki, Mr. Tattykins is he is a long distance truck driver. But he doesn't have to be specifically truck driver, but he drives just about anything and anywhere, specializing in Arctic driving.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I used, because we're an island and a small one at that. There was one time there's a lad I used to work with, and I used to play rugby with, and he was a truck driver, and he has to miss a match because he was driving to Germany to pick up the whole country's supply of cheese strings for the week. So if anything happened to his truck, Ireland would have no cheese strings for a week. The consequences could have been catastrophic.
A tragedy. Could have been a tragedy.
Well, because we're a small country, he drove over with his refrigerated van, filled it up, and spent 3 days driving it back to Hanover in Germany. And as I said, but because we were such a small country, that was the entire country's supply.
Wow.
I just find that funny.
Okay, so Geordie and Bates feel they just need a little more time, but life support starts failing everywhere, all over the ship, so Picard orders them to pull the plug, which Geordie does, rerouting power back to life support. Bates continues to monitor the fragment's new course and tells Geordie they have done it. They were successful. Whoop whoop.
Yay!
Picard hails the colony and tells Connor the good news that they've succeeded. Connor asks to speak to Bates and congratulates her on her historic achievement, and they'll celebrate upon her return. Bates doesn't look happy, though. Sad Bates.
Just point out another little technical foible. If you lose life support, like they'd be okay for a while. I know I've said this before, but you know, that's light heat and oxygen. You know, the room just wouldn't become suddenly cold, and you know, the oxygen would last for hours. You know, just because you lost it for 3 or 4 minutes, you don't really need to evacuate the deck. You can just get on with your day. Unless it's gone for a few hours, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
It depends. Like how much did they put into like insulation? Because it's like a few degrees over Kelvin zero in space. So if that's not an insulated spaceship and it's depending on life support and shields, and that goes, you're gonna get cold fast.
But the thing, because space has no medium, I'm going to go into physics here. It's basically empty. That's why they call it space. And so I'm doing Donald Trump hands. But they call it. There's nothing for the heat to radiate into.
Yeah.
So,
your air is
so
inside the ship, and the air is excited and warm. And as long as it's there, it's stuck there. It's not going anywhere.
As long as it's sealed in, it effectively you can't lose heat to the outside environment, regardless of insulation, because heat needs a medium and needs a matter to transfer into for it to escape a space. And since there is no matter, it'll just stay heat hot forever, basically.
Yes. That was actually interesting, Sean. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, you know, even a stop clock is right twice a day, so there you go.
Yep. That was the end of Act 4. Yeah, we've got to the final act already. So, unless anybody's got anything else, I'll give you the answer to question 5.
No, I don't think so. You didn't do a bonus question this time, did you?
Yes, do.
No, I missed a bonus question in Act 4. We do have a bonus question in Act 5, though. There's one more bonus question to come. I just couldn't think of one. And Act 5, where Act 4 and Act 3 were tiny acts, Act 5's a monster. So don't think we're quite over yet. It's still got some bits to go.
All right.
And another
Stuplum
bonus question.
said Picard doesn't need air with a silent H.
Right.
No.
The old Barnett? No, he doesn't. Well, I mean, he's a robot now, so who knows?
Yeah. So the answer to question 5 then, how many degrees did they have to adjust the core fragment's trajectory? 1, 1.2, 12, or 120? I should be covered in bees.
You are indeed.
It was 1.2 degrees. Yeah. So well
Also,
done, everyone.
So I was actually kind of half joking about everybody drawing equal, but that is actually quite true. So
We got one bonus question, go.
Stu Plum's the only one that hasn't got a bonus question so far, so he's on 300 points, but everybody else is on 320. And we've got G Star got 100 points because obviously I think is not with us at the moment, but yeah.
You're all going to be sharing top spot by the sounds of it.
I want to ask
but
Wookie,
your final bonus question could split the difference.
Yeah, go on, Sean.
I said, can we ask Wookie a question, Star Wars related or Wookie related, so that it just puts it level with everyone else? I don't think he'd appreciate us for it.
No. So on to Act 5, the final act. The final act. I regret my decisions.
Okay.
On the
I
planet.
thought that band were voted out in 2016.
Well, Europe. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. I lost my little button thing. There we go.
Oh, there's a sonoboy.
Yeah,
Sorry, that thing is used in the U.S. Navy. That kind
oh, the thing in the
little
middle.
piece of equipment.
Yes.
It's called a sonoboy, and it's
Yeah.
reused quite a lot.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah, we've talked about it a number of times, but yeah, it's often used as like a transport test
yeah.
thing. Yeah. Yes. On the planet, the engineering teams beam up, leaving only Riker and LaForge. Riker gives a leaving report to Connor, and Connor tells Riker to say goodbye to Troy for him, because he didn't manage to do it himself. Then a siren chimes, and there's a breach in the biosphere. They run off to investigate and find Dr. Bates is already analysing the situation. She explains to them that unfortunately there is structural damage and they can't seal it. They might only have a couple of hours left. Geordi decides to help the Doctor with the crisis. But question 6. Earlier in this episode, a boy played a piano. But what was the boy's name? Was it A. Matthew, B. Mark, C. Luke, or D. John?
D. John like the mustard.
Yeah, D. John. Let me just... What was
For
the
a
name of
bonus
the boy?
question, what piano piece was he playing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that.
Oh, I
Okay,
saw
well,
it
it-
earlier, and I can't remember now.
Yeah, it was Chopin's Prelude in E minor.
Oh, was it?
Nobody cares.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
You think being out in space all that time for centuries, they would have been able to write some new decent music and have something to offer instead of like holding on to relics? Like,
Well, I mean, well, we still make new music, but the classics are still the classics. And I think one of the critical flaws of their society is that most human achievements are done on the basis that there's a couple of thousand people in any given generation that achieve huge breakthroughs. The rest of us are just ticking things over, making the sandwiches, doing our data entry, doing banking admin as I do. For every million people doing banking admin, there's one person who's making a huge scientific breakthrough. And even with the most gifted, best people in the world, it's a numbers game, and that's not the game they're playing.
Yeah. I like the way I go to all that effort to put all the names in chat, and everybody's answered before I've even put it in. Wow, I really thought I thought I'll leave it to last, and nobody will be thinking about that boy, and they won't know his name, and this is going to be my difficult question of the episode, and everybody just got it straight away, bang, like that. You're all too good. I'm not making the questions hard enough. I'm going to make them harder next time. Okay, so we're in a lab. I think the lab's looking like the TARDIS control room in this.
I
shot.
was thinking that, yeah.
I was just expecting this
With the
middle bit to go up and down,
Yeah.
and wheeze like I
And
do
we're-
walking up a hill.
But that is in fact the motion picture. Well, not the original motion picture, but that's the Star Trek 6 bridge. It's
Well, it's
it's the Reliant.
it is the old the old bridge, and not the Star Trek 6 one actually. It's the Star Trek 2 and 3 and 4 one.
Mm.
But
Well,
yeah,
I think
you're
I think I
right.
read they had to rebuild the set 3 times, the bridge set, because they threw it out one time, a different time they let it out and the rain got out, and the third time it just went missing or something. So
Yeah, you're right. It's the battle
or-
bridge. It's been
Yeah.
well, it's that set that's
It's
been
yeah.
everything really. Yeah.
it's been everything, yeah.
Yeah. This control console though, the middle console, this TARDIS
Yeah.
bit was built for this episode. It's brand new.
Well, that could be the PCC in the science lab in Voyager. I mean, it is the right shape, but
Yeah.
it's far more detailed at that stage. It's hexagonal and it's about the right dimensions.
They
so very possibly
they
it's
use
used
it a
again.
number of times going forward, but this this set piece is Genesis. This is where it's created, but we'll see it pop up again and again.
I mean, I'm absolutely no expert, but I help out the local drama group when they build sets, and I've just learned a bit of stage magic and how you assemble flats. It's great knowledge to have, because you can see you definitely get a more of a vision when you've built a few how they're put together. Very much so.
Wookie was saying that the last picture looked a bit like Vader's volcanic planet. And this is the first time. I mean, it's like in every other shot, like we've seen outside, it looks all red, and then you see inside and it's all white, like they've got like false lighting inside or something. I don't know if it's something to do with the dome and how it filters the light, but it does look a bit odd. This is the first one where it looks like the red light kind of comes in.
Yeah, well, I would imagine...
Yeah, I think the light they've got in the plaza area, and that's all false. Well,
you'd have to have standard human UV light in order to have a healthy population. So whether they filter the light or they just have, LEDs that are, lighting that simulates normal human lighting conditions, but humans can't survive without proper sunlight. It just, it creates problems like rickets and things. Yeah, they'd have to figure out a solution.
I will say that they did redo. So that was how that window looked in the standard definition, and like that. And I've lost it now. Oh God! What have I got? Didn't do that very well, did I? Yeah, and that's what it looks like now. But they this was actually a composite shot, so they had to redo the effects of the planet. They tried to make it look similar, but they added a lot more detail into like the clouds and the rocks, so it looks a lot better.
Well, I can say, particularly in the first shot, less so in the second shot. If you look, you can clearly see the sun like straight on 0 degrees, and then look at the angles of the struts where it suggests it's way over to the left. So now I'm only noticing because I'm being nitpicky, but yeah, the source of light and the strand, they don't line up.
Yeah. So in her lab, Geordi confronts Dr. Bates that his visor didn't detect any leaks. She's like, "Oh, diggity darn, your visor picks up everything."
Don't you people in the 24th century pee?
Yeah. Yeah, it picks up everything, don't it? And Geordi's
I'm not detecting a leak.
Yeah.
Me or your own eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, so why she lied? It's because she has seen loads of amazing things on the Enterprise, and she doesn't want to be stuck back in the colony again.
It's always the scientist that's like, "Oh man, this is cool. Okay, can I get asylum with you guys? Take me with you."
Take me with you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The second I saw it, you know what it was. The second she saw Data, she was like, "Oh damn."
I mean,
you sure it wasn't Geordi?
Her technology is roughly 200 years, 250 years in the past. Okay, they maybe advanced 100 years, but they're still 150 years ahead of that. I mean, if you're bred to be a scientist, you want to see the best and brightest, and you can't do that sitting in a little hovel. It's like moving to a little village on an island with no electricity and going, yeah, this is fine. No, you need to be where the internet is.
The double glazing in the 24th century Wookiee is transparent aluminum.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, you see it in Star Trek 4, the one with the whales.
Yeah.
Scotty gives the secret back to the past. Except for in Star Trek Generations, in which case it's replaced with normal glass. So when it crashes into a planet, it can shatter as Deanna crashes it. And I just say, Deanna only ever piloted twice. Once the Enterprise D, once the Enterprise E. Managed to crash. Piloted twice, crashed twice. 100% record. Well done.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you see her piloting anything in the last few episodes of Enterprise, no bad things are going to happen.
Yeah. In the observation lounge, Geordi tells the crew that Dr. Bates wants to claim asylum. Riker thinks there will be others. Worf's like, why not? But Troy says, we can't do that. Geordie's like, yes, we can do that. But Troy's like, no, we can't. And the reasoning is that the colony is genetically dependent, and removing one or some of them would create holes that would invariably destroy them eventually.
Also, how superior...
The female, it's like, no, just harvest her eggs and go.
Also, how genetically superior are you?
We need to harvest your eggs first.
How genetically superior are you if like you're losing a couple of people and you cannot adapt? You know, that rigid society will never survive.
It's not good luck, is it? It's not good luck.
Like the reasons humans have evolved as far as we aren't because we're the strongest or the fastest or the cleverest. It's just because we adapt the best. It's just the way it is. Whatever's thrown at us, we figure out a way to get around it.
Yeah. Wolf's like, but we did save them, didn't we? And Picard's like, did we? And he has that look about him that says, oh no, I fucked up the Prime Directive again. He decides to go meet Connor for himself, and he takes Troy with him. Troy takes a turbo lift with Picard and tells him that she has unfortunately been fucking their leader. And it might have been a mistake.
Oh my god, it just came out of nowhere.
Picard's like, okay, I see.
She's been taking some genetic samples.
Yeah. She tells Picard... She tells Picard she just wanted to help him, and Picard's like, I'm sure you did.
Help him get his rocks off.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's banged an alien, so...
But at the end of the day, genetic manipulation
Captain, I sense he's horny.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. On the planet, Bad Back is not happy with the Doctor for putting her own self-interests ahead of the colony. Picard and Troy enter Bad Back's... Picard and Troy enter, and Bad Back's automatically accusing Picard of ruining their entire society. Connor decides he wants to talk to Picard alone. But the bonus question... In the lab, we saw lots of old props with blinking lights. But what's the name of the organisation that Paramount hired these props from?
Fuckity fuck.
Tough question, this one.
No, hold on. Okay.
In the lab, we see a lot of old props with blinking lights, but which organisation did Paramount hire these props from? I'll give you a clue. It's gone bankrupt, or it's not gone bankrupt. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, the lad sold it all off because he was in his 80s 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's one of the props he had was the blinking red tubes.
Yeah. They're like lasers in a tube.
Yeah, and they've been featured on Star Trek several times. But in Airplane 2, William Shatner walks up to them. What's the purpose of these? What do they do? They must be for something. We paid for them. Why are they here? And it's very, very funny, and it's very meta. And I very much love that scene. It's great.
They're in about 200 films and TV programs.
Yeah, the guy who owned it just built blinky boxes with really simple switch sequences and made himself a fortune. Ultimately, it was just the cost of land just bought him out, and all the shows moved to Toronto. So
quickly, Tabby, put your answer together with Sean's answer. Quick. Proper job.
Duplum says proper job.
Proper job.
I've locked it in, so I'm not going to change it. But I was kind of thinking that might be right, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, so that was the bonus question.
But yeah, all those Battlestar Galactica 70s stuff. That's all.
Yeah. You can't quite see it. It's behind his head, but there's a big blinking panel there on it, and there's another desk to his left here. That's another one.
You can't see the light on his head.
No, he's in darkness there actually.
No, but you can see that the light shining on the right hand side of his lobe there.
Yeah. Connor laments that Bad Back was correct all along. and his curiosity would not let him see the damage he was inflicting. Picard points out that without their intervention, they'd all be dead now, but it doesn't seem to matter. He asks Picard to refuse those who wish to leave, because the needs of the many kind of argument, but Picard will not do that either. Picard does agree to meet the people together and ask them to stay, but in the end, the Enterprise will not turn anyone away.
Yeah, and behind his head is another one of those props. If that's not the same one,
Yeah,
that's
it's one of the back of the room.
Definitely the same. That's definitely the same crew. You can see it.
Yeah,
but yeah, you can see the key grip lights shining off his forehead. Always with Picard, it's very obvious.
Yeah. The name of the company that supplies the props. Yeah.
No, Ruth was asking to repeat the question.
Oh, yes. The question exactly was, in this lab, we see a lot of old props with blinking lights, but which organisation did Paramount hire these props from?
Props are us.
Props
Love
are
it.
us.
Yeah.
Props to you, Ruth. Props to you.
Yeah, anytime you see 70s square, blocky, blinky lights and sequence things, it's the same company that provides them.
They also did really modern looking things, you know. He worked it right up to like a few years ago. Like he did all the like cool looking guns and Men in Black, like the noisy.
Oh yeah, I saw those. Yeah, I saw that article you're talking about. It's it's amazing the stuff he did.
Acme.
The machining he did. But I was reading up on Jörg Hillebrand, the guy who does all the reference stuff, and he was talking about how spoiler, Worf has a new baldric, a new sash in. And the thing is, his original sash for the films came up for sale not 6 months ago and sold for about $5,000. And instead of just buying the one that he used in the shows, they created a new one that probably cost more to create than just buy back the one they already used and use it for the new show again.
$5,000, that's really good. That's not bad.
Yeah, well,
they could create a new prop for a lot less than that.
You'd be surprised. It probably costs more, the way Hollywood accounting goes. But $5,000 for a show that costs, $6 or $7 million an episode is not a lot of money. So they could have just bought back the original prop, and they didn't.
Okay, so Connor outlines to the people that Picard has offered to transport anyone who wants to leave, but asks the people to stay. Bates is like, "No way, man, I'm off." Connor tries to convince her to give it 6 months, and Picard chips in, saying, they should take time to think about it because it's a big move and not rush into it. But this girl is not for turning, and she asks Picard how would he like to be confined here rather than exploring the stars. And he kind of shifts his feet. He doesn't really think that would be a nice thing. She tries one last time to convince Connor that it's now his time to lead his people into a new era. But in reply, he tells her the door will always be open when she wants to return. Connor says one last goodbye to Troy, who asks Connor what he will do now. He says it's like trying to put back he's going to try to put back society together, though it has some missing pieces. He wonders why, with all this genetically compatible women, he has fallen in love with her. He guesses it's her imperfections that make her unique. And then he walks off.
Well, yeah, basically.
It is a backhand. He's like, you're imperfect. And then walks off. Gone.
I really like your snaggle tooth and that slight lazy eye you've got there.
Could you honestly imagine, okay, now I'm single, but could you honestly imagine being with someone who was perfect? Who never did anything wrong or had any faults or was just perfect in every way and there was nothing wrong with them. I mean, how amazingly annoying would that be?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have nothing to talk about. You'd have nothing to wrangle out. I mean, it's like the episode of Riker gets the Q powers and gives them back. He goes, "This is too easy. It's just...
It's no fun."
You wouldn't be human. It's just... it would be so incredibly boring.
I don't know. Living with Smiler Rainbow is quite nice.
I was waiting for that.
Smiler, can you bring in his brownie? He's earned his brownie points. Stamp it off.
She's not even listening.
Oh,
Okay, well, you can tell the truth, so. But, well, actually, they cover it in the episode Fairhaven, which is another one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek. But Jesus, would you give me some money for the pints? But in that, Janeway meets a holographic character she likes, and she starts changing him piece by piece, and then eventually at a certain point she realizes, if I keep changing him, he won't be a person anymore, and she stops herself having the ability to do so. She just goes, I have to accept he's imperfect, and that's why I liked him in the first place. If I change him too much, he won't be the person I liked. So. Yeah. Anyway, imperfections are important. That's what makes you human.
It is what makes you human. Smiler Rainbow just woke up and was like, someone's referring me. What's going on? Okay. So, he's walked off. In the ready room, Picard's playing with his crystal.
All right.
Hey, it's crystal time. He's just playing with it.
Which TNG member was involved with the Dark Crystal? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Sorry?
Which TNG member was involved with the Dark Crystal? The film The Dark Crystal?
I know the Dark Crystal. TNG member.
I don't remember. Oh, goodness.
I don't know.
Gates McFadden was. She was doing all that
choreographer.
stuff in the choreo.
Yes.
That was Dark Crystal. That was Labyrinth, but same creators.
I think she did Dark Crystal. Hold on.
Oh,
There's no dancing in Dark Crystal.
Tabby-Kins is right. It was definitely Labyrinth. She was definitely involved with
She did do Labyrinth. Yeah, no, she did Dark Crystal as well. Sorry.
No,
She did? Oh.
Oh, there you go. I guess they're
You should
both,
apologize to Big Brass.
they're both Jim Henson Productions.
Earlier in her career, she worked with Jim Henson as a choreographer in Creature Shop projects, beginning with the Dark Crystal. Yeah.
Oh, he was more than suggesting, Ruth.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Sorry, I read that on a wiki, and then I just went to a tweet by Gates McFadden, and she goes, I choreographed Labyrinth, not Dark Crystal. Someone always puts that on posters. So I eat my own hat on that one. I have been corrected by Gates McFadden herself. Never mind.
And by Tavi.
I tell you something else I learned this week from watching Picard Season 3 cast interview. Someone asked Riker about the whole two takes frakes thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's like it's an urban myth. It's not really real. He said where that actually come from is he likes to do his scenes in one take, preferably.
Yeah.
People just do the scene and get it right. But Paramount Pictures has a rule that you must do at least 2 takes.
Yeah.
For a backup or for a reprint. So they forced him to do 2 takes, and that's where the 2 takes frakes thing comes from. Not because he likes to do 2 takes, but just because it was a Paramount Picture rule.
I've got to talking to actually several of the art directors on Picard, but one of them, a guy called Kit Stolen or Stalin, we lost Tavi there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
She
camera
froze.
froze.
Oh, okay. Hopefully she'll be back because anyway, I asked him about working for Jonathan Frakes, and apparently all the people on set are really delighted when he's directing because they all go home 3 or 4 hours early. So instead of having like a 16-hour day, they have a 10-hour day, which makes which is still a bit of a day, but they get paid very well. But
that doesn't marry with the fact that it's just an urban myth, though.
No.
No.
But he also I was listening to the Shuttle Pod
Freaks.
I was listening to the Shuttle Pod 1 podcast recently, and Andrew Robinson, who played Garrick, was on it, and he was saying there was 3, because the hours were so long on Deep Space Nine, there was 3 different accidents, and 2 of them were fatal, where people coming off the set had to drive home and actually died because they were so tired. from working these incredibly long 60, 70, 80-hour weeks over the first 3 seasons, and they had to change it back to like 12-hour days maximum and shut it down. But like they really, really worked them, all the hours constantly. It was okay for the actors; they weren't in every scene unless it was their episode, and that was rare. But yeah, they really, really push people. I mean, they pay you well, but you have no life.
Anyway, it was a really good interview. I quite enjoyed watching it. It was really nice to see the showrunner, the young showrunner they got on season 3 of Picard. He's like a real big Star Trek fan.
Oh,
and really gets
Terry
it.
Matalas.
Terry Matalas.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
He blocked me on Twitter.
He seems like a really nice guy.
Oh, he is, but he's very block happy. And I looked through the tweets and I figured out what caused him to block me. And all I said is, I hope the Klingons look like Klingons, and he blocked me.
They did ask him, and Worf that exact question. And
but I've seen several people in the fan community go, Terry Matalas blocked me. I don't know why. And then they got going, well, I kind of figured it out, but I'm like, yeah, he's block happy. I don't know.
Oh well, I think that, Hollywood types, they're sensitive souls, aren't they?
But he was he was an assist. He was a scriptwriter on Voyager, and he was a personal assistant on TNG. He's actually in an episode of TNG as an extra in the background. You can, if you Google there Terry Matalas TNG, you can actually see him. He's walking into a lift past Picard or something. So he's only about 45, but he's been knocking around since about 25 as
he didn't look 45.
As an intern or what have you.
Can I ask a question about the show Mr. Pickard?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 10 years older than me. He's 47. Sorry.
Is Brent Spiner in it yet?
I am about 80% certain he's going to be in tomorrow's episode.
I think so.
Okay.
So they're going to the Daystrom Institute where Lore and B4 are, and possibly not Sherlock, Moriarty is, so more Hertig, and I'm going to make a bold presumption here. Dr. Zimmerman, I'm going to throw that out there. And I'm still banking on seeing Captain Harry Kim before the end of the season. I haven't given up on that. But yeah, it's more likely than not that he's going to be in the next episode, which comes out tomorrow.
But one of the things they said in the interview as well, would you think about doing more now? Even though it's just like the last hurrah for the TNG crew, would you think about maybe doing another film? And the showrunner guy was just like, heck yes, of course we want to do another film. And Michael Dorn was like, I don't know about that. I've got to go through all this makeup again. It's just like, it's the makeup, man. I mean, it's just the makeup.
Calamini told...
You should just use a filter.
Yeah, just get a Worf filter.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you can see I've changed my photo there. There's Terry Matalas back in his TNG days where they gave him a that's him. That's him back in the TNG
that's
days when
him. He doesn't look much different.
When he was Rick Berman's personal assistant when he was about 25.
Wow.
And they let him write a script here and there and a script, and then he was an assistant show producer, and eventually they gave him his own. And then he did well with 12 Monkeys, and now he has Picard.
12 Monkeys is pretty good. I quite like 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, that was him. But he reused a lot of the same actors. So yeah. But he's very block happy on Twitter. So just basically don't talk to him at all because he'll block you over anything.
Don't use Twitter. So.
You're missing out.
Yeah, I don't think I am.
All the back. Like in the isolinear chips in Picard, right? There's a little blue square in the center of them, and the reason why it's there is the binaural gel packs from Voyager are now integrated into the isolinear chips, and there's a little blue spot. And I only know that because some of the set directors have shared really close, intimate photos of all these things. And detail they go into the background stuff. It's so good. You just miss this stuff because you can't find it anywhere else.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, that's the level of nerdery we get into. But yeah,
Again,
I love it.
I'm happy not being on Twitter.
All right.
Okay, so in his ready room, Picard's playing with his crystal. Riker enters and tells him 23 people have left the colony and they're transporting them. Picard laments, I can't believe we just had like a quarter of an hour conversation and I'm now like ending the episode. Picard laments that... still come up. Stupid picture. Picard laments that this highlights the need for the Prime Directive, but Will argues that the Prime Directive doesn't apply in this case. And besides, they had to respond to the threat of the core fragment anyway, because indeed they are human. Picard thinks that in the end, they might have done more damage to this society than, or just as much damage to this society than the core fragment would have done. And that's the end of the
Core
episode.
fragment would have killed them.
Yeah, maybe they have done in the long run, but maybe it's for the better, isn't it? Because they're going to go out and become more diverse now.
Well, the laws of thermodynamics state, and I'm paraphrasing, that in a closed system, everything eventually... Oh, God, I forget the exact wording. But in a closed system, basically, everything will eventually turn to pot. Because if the system is closed with no external influence, it'll eventually just settle into nothing. So by having a small colony with no external influence, it's more or less mathematically doomed to fail.
Yeah. Genetic engineered or not?
Yeah, it's just I think it's the second law of thermodynamics, and I'm forgetting the wording. Maybe someone can tell me in the chat, but that's the basic gist of it.
Well, I'm going to go back to question 6, which you might remember was about half an hour ago. In the early episode, a boy played a piano, but what was the boy's name? And everybody answered it before I'd even managed to get the answer into chat. And it was a Matthew. It wasn't Mark, Luke, or John. So I think well done to everyone there. And I think everybody had a spirited try at answering the bonus question. So I'm going to give everybody a chance at the spin of the wheel.
Oh, really?
Rules be damned.
I didn't even answer. That doesn't feel right.
Everyone but Maz.
Yeah, that's a
Because
bit better.
everyone else tried, but Maz couldn't be asked. So
So that's four numbers.
4. So we'll go Ruth.
There are 4 numbers!
Ruth, Stuplum, Sean, and Tavi. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Can you remember your number?
You got to put 4 in there because it's on
Oh,
fire
yeah.
at the moment. Ruth, Stuplum, Sean, Tavi.
Ruth, Stuplum, Sean, Tavi. Here we go. Let's spin up wheel.
Hey!
3.
Sure.
God damn it. Sorry, Ruth.
Makes you the winner today,
I was
Sean.
hoping for you.
Mandalorian was
Well
good.
done. Well done,
Hope they
Sean.
don't.
I haven't seen today's Mando, but I'll get to it. Had to go to Dublin with my father. Bit of a pain, but I got there.
I have to admit, I loved season 1 of Mando. And season 2 was okay in parts. And then the Boba Fett, the story of the book of Boba Fett just kind of really ruined the whole vibe for me. So I haven't,
Boba Fett was a bit uneven, yeah.
so
And the best episodes were basically extra episodes of Mando, just labeled Boba Fett.
Anybody in chat
Mando.
seen Mandalorian season 3 yet? Would you recommend? Because I don't know if I can be bothered to go back to it.
Well, there's only one episode and it's 35 minutes long last week.
I
and then
liked
there's
it
today's
when-
episode,
I
which I haven't.
I liked it at the end of season 2. I thought that was a nice contained story. You know, Luke came and took Baby Yoda away, and that was I could have quite happily left it there.
Oh,
They
okay.
should-
Well, well, basically, yeah. Grogu isn't Jedi material because he's too attached, so they gave him back, and now they're on a new adventure, and he has to redeem himself in the eyes of the Mandalorians, and he has to unite the Mandalorians with the Darksaber. So
Because
that's
he
kind of
took his hat off.
Yeah, because he took his hat off.
Mm.
So he's Anyway, I haven't seen episode 2 came out today. I haven't seen it yet. I will be seeing it. Wookie says it's decent.
Wookie recommends.
Said it's great,
so
actually.
Let you know, I can't stay late tonight because I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to London. So
No.
I'm going to have to leave in about 10 minutes. But
10 minutes, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I think we're more or less there. So
10 o'clock. Yeah, we're done with the episode. We just got to do the scoring and all that. But yes, Wookie recommends it, so I will watch it then. I'll give it a whirl.
I gotta go get my paddle.
Yeah, get your paddle.
Wait for me, Wookie. I'm getting the paddle.
Actually, where's my paddle? Oh, there it is. Right, so I will get the spreadsheet of doom. No, the spreadsheet of happiness. Season 5. Right, Mazima Bob, do you want to read out the in order of the scores?
Yes.
So in
Sean
first place,
scores 10.
Hey, well done, Sean.
Points.
Scorchio.
Go on then. Second place?
In equal second place is Ruth, Mazza and Tavi with 8 points.
8. Okay, so...
we scored 440, so only 20 behind Sean. That last
Ruth,
bonus
Mazza,
got it for Sean.
Ruth, Mazza and...
Tavi. And then...
8.
Tavi giving us a boob show there.
Ooh.
And
Try not to give you an ass show.
Oh, we were saying was this.
With 6 points.
6 points. Okay. 97.
Which, again, only 20 points in it. He had 420 points.
Right.
And then, finally, we've got G-Star with 5 points, who got 100 points.
28. Right, let me just do a quick recalculation on that. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Entertaining.
Ruth is saying I should have had some shots. Shots are not
So
really conducive with getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on it tomorrow night in London, so that's why I've gone easy with the fruity ciders tonight.
Yes,
I can
definitely
respect
wise.
that.
Definitely wise.
And I find you have this kind of false energy when you get up that early, because you get to about 7 o'clock in the evening and you go, I'm not even tired. I feel completely normal. I can go all night. And then, 45 minutes later, you're like drooling over yourself in a chair. It just catches up with you.
So the scores now refactored with this. The order pretty much stays the same, except for it's tightened it up at the top, with Stu Plum still in the lead on 97, Ruth in second on 95, and Mazima Bob in third with 90. Sean is on 87 and Taffy is on 81. So there's not a lot in it. The next episode could change everything around. Now, I will say, before people disappear off and we get the scores in, start putting your scores for this episode in chat out of 10. What do you rate this episode? Whilst you're putting your scores in chat, I will tell you that we are going to be taking a slight hiatus now for a couple of weeks. Sorry, we didn't have a chance to talk to Tavi, Kens, and Sean before the episode. But
all right, no bother.
Next Wednesday is actually Mazima Bob's birthday, so we shall.
You don't look 30.
We shall be celebrating. We'll be going out for Mazima Bob's birthday next Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that is
far more excitingly
G-Star's wedding.
Whoop, whoop.
So,
and we're best man and best lady. So
which we're So we won't be around for the next 2 weeks. So we're coming back with a bang though in 3 weeks' time with a proper good episode. So that's good news, I think.
Yeah. We're hitting an absolute sweet spot. I have to say, there's 4 or 5 bangers in a row, which doesn't often happen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame we're gonna have a little break, but at least we'll be coming back with a bang, right?
Yeah.
On the 29th.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be back with a bang.
Sorry, Tavi. I know you
Well,
don't like when we don't do it for a week.
But
Messes
Tavi,
up your routine.
Just
as
trying
I
to
said,
not go insane. But I've already started rocking. I'm like, oh.
Don't worry, we'll put Tammy back in a box. It'll all be fine.
yeah. Well, in next week's episode, Conundrum.
Ooh, Ruth says she may join us on the 29th. That would be awesome.
Do it,
Welcome
Ruth.
anytime.
Do it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wookie, if you fancy coming on, you're very welcome.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wookie, come on.
Hmm.
You can get your tactics on Duolingo. Come learn languages with me.
Okay, so the Master Society. No, the Masterpiece. It does have those kind of like sort of Nazi connotations, doesn't it? The Masterpiece Society.
Master
And
race. Yeah.
I think it could have been a much better episode if they played into that and the things that they knew, that they wouldn't have known back then or claimed they wouldn't have known. I mean, I in my mind I thought this was a better episode than it was, but yeah, for whatever reason, whatever way they were repeated when I was a young fella, it stuck in my mind more than it was. But ultimately, it's very forgettable. I mean,
Right, should we
the
get our
A-plot-
scores? Sorry, before
Yeah.
you talk about it any further.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, we'll do scores and then talk. Okay.
I'm going to be honest with this one. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Boing.
Boing.
Oh, 5655.
Yeah.
I have to admit, for whatever reason, this one I just found really boring. Like
It was a
watching.
man.
Yeah.
I,
Well, the A plot, as I said, the A plot is meh. The only real interesting trick is
There
the
was a
fact
B
that
plot?
well, yeah, the
The
A
whole-
plot. Well, oh, sorry. I suppose the B plot was the comet. I suppose the A plot was the people. But I mean, Geordie's visor being the solution to it all, yeah, wasn't played enough. It's completely underplayed, and it's not woven into the story properly. And there's lots of interesting questions about eugenics and Khan, and the fucking writer was called Khan for fuck's sake. And they just didn't lean into it. They're much more interesting. Much like last week, there was a much more interesting story at the heart of the nugget of the story idea, and they came nowhere close to capturing it.
I think that's what it is for me. I think you're right, Sean. It's just the love story with Deanna, and that it was kind of there, and they both said they loved each other, but you didn't really see it evolve, or it just was very sort of superficial. And the same with the scientist sort of being on the Enterprise. She said, she wants to leave her entire life to be there now, but you think my dog is really trying to get my attention. But you didn't really see her grow into that, or what she actually found really interesting about the Enterprise, apart from Geordie's visor.
All she had to do was walk in and see Data, and that would have been the entire scene.
It just seemed lacking.
Who is that? Not
I'm a
even
fully
know
functional android. Fully functional, you say?
that- Tell Connor I'm not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it missed. Is somehow it was a
Score from chat is 5 as well.
5 from chat. I think that might put it as like the lowest.
Oh,
one of
it's
the season.
it's level with Violations. I would have ranked it above Violations, but as it happens, actually, do you know what? Can you just change me to a 6, just so it's above Violations, because it's better than that.
No,
That's score tampering.
Is that against the rules?
No, Sean.
All right.
Sean, I can change my mind on the scores.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
change my spread. I change my mind, but you're not allowed. You've given it now.
All right.
It's the same
I-
as
I-
Violations. That's what it is.
I don't think it deserves. I think it's slightly better than Violations, but it's not great. All right.
Mickey, if you put a 6 in chat, don't ask any questions. You'll make Sean's day.
No, because then that would average at 5. Oh yeah, that would actually, because that would average at 5.5, which would.
Don't do it, Mickey. Don't even think about it.
Ladder Mickey, yet again.
Let it ride. Let it ride. Yeah,
which is Irish for continue on, basically.
Have you got Maz? Have you got anything about the reception or the feedback or anything about this episode? What people thought about it?
You'd think I would have, but no, I forgot to. There was very little trivia on this episode at all, but yeah, I mean, just sort of scanning through, I think some people liked it. Micah Pillar said it was the beginning of feeling better about this season. Another one of the shows that have been around for a while, because they took ages, like with 6 writers, to try and develop this story. Other members of the production staff weren't so pleased with the final version. Rick Berman said it's a philosophical issue, but was a bit disappointing. Didn't turn out as they'd hoped. It was a bit too slow and talky.
Nice.
Jerry Taylor also didn't really like it. Rick said the people were too damn perfect, and I don't think perfection makes for good drama. So yeah, pretty lukewarm reception from most people who were involved by the looks of it. It's a good job I had that page open.
Yeah, I think that's it though. With so many writers developing it over such a long period of time, I think it knocks all its hard edges off, and it just ends up becoming vanilla
mush.
Yeah, I think that was the problem.
Like, I would say probably no. It's whilst I watched it all the way through, and I only joined you last season. But probably the best episode of TNG is Measure of a Man, and it just has all those hard edges, and that's what makes it great. Or Measure of a Man, or the other one with the Romulan and Admiral Satie. Or The First Duty. There's a couple, but they all have hard edges and they all have flaws. There's 3 or 4 of them, and they really, really just show, as I said, imperfection is kind of the point of it. It's like, how do you overcome those imperfections? How do you try and be the best version of yourself in an imperfect world, which you can't do in a perfect world, you know? And that's what makes Trek great. It's just you're trying to do your best, and there's no one right answer. And this episode, just doesn't deliver. It's just meh.
Yeah.
But next week is Conundrum.
In 3 weeks' time. is Conundrum.
Our next show is Conundrum.
Next show's Conundrum. Yep. Sorry, Wookie. We haven't got time to hang about and just talk shit for 20 minutes. But I think we talked.
Mazza has a lava.
We've talked quite a lot of that through this episode, to be honest. So.
and to be honest, even though we've talked a lot of shit, we're still only on 2 hours runtime.
I told you it was going to be a brief one.
We've almost been padding it out, really.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you to my co-hosts, Monteban. No, that's me. Mazza and Bob, Chief Sean, Tavykins Turner, and thank you to everyone in chat. Stu Plum, Mr. Tavykins, Wookie, Ruth, Mickey. Did I say Mickey? I think I might have done my ever-suffering Wrench, Smiler, Rainbow,
Stu Plum,
Wookie, G-Star. All of you guys, thank you for coming along again, and we will see you again in 3 weeks when G-Star is a new man and Mazza Bob is a year older. So, yeah, we'll see you then. Cheers.
Bye.